Hello everyone that's watching. We're just going to give it about 10 minutes to let people build up, because obviously we had technical issues just now. For some reason my screen was completely blank, but it's working now. Hopefully you all got the link from the group, but by all means feel free to comment below, because I'm letting it run 10 minutes so people can catch up. Of course you can. You can. Of course you can. Yes, you can. Why can you not do it? Oh, Christ. So while I've started it, I'm just going to go over some of the topics we'll be going into in a little bit. But I'll wait for Laurie to come. Just make sure it's all running smoothly. Yeah, I've got one on me, Babs. Right. Is it working? Collect what? Alright, 2 seconds. Just making sure it's working. Yes, it is. Collect what? Hello, one viewer that's watching. We'll be starting very shortly. I've just got it running because unfortunately we ran into technical difficulties. I've managed to sort it, I think. Might be the weather, I don't know. Oh.
Why are you sat there like a goon?
I'm not, I'm waiting for you.
That's a bit unprofessional.
What?
On your phone.
I told them we'll be starting in 10 minutes. And I'm also making sure the stream is working this time, because last time this screen was completely blank, so...
Yeah, that's what you want people to do.
It was. It's working now, though. Oh.
Just about made up. I find it awkward to walk. I got there.
Yeah. Monsters there.
That's nice.
There's a lighter for you.
That's nice, isn't it?
You bought the fan. Or the tobacco,
Yeah,
or
there's
cigarette.
already lighter on the sofa. Why do I need two?
Might want another one.
I wonder sometimes of you.
Right. Oh.
We're all ready.
Yeah.
Maybe why didn't that sound very good?
Just waiting for people to get in if they're watching.
You've got my deodorant in the wrong place.
I'm so sorry. It's now a criminal offence to put the deodorant in the wrong place.
Airbrushes upside down, not the right way around.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, no, did you see me? Because you've just blocked the view.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look at the table of contents I've done, that I drafted out of what I want to talk about.
Excuse to on your bloody phone.
Right. So if I screenshot
Right, I've got the battery down on it, it'd be easier.
well, I need it as the table of contents, perhaps, because I put some effort into this.
You and effort don't go.
Well, they do, actually.
Never don't.
They do.
Never don't.
They do. Right. So, going to get started now. So, first of all, an introduction, or introducing ourselves. I am Alex. The moody lady is Laurie.
I'm not even in a mood.
You're very snappy. The purpose of this live is so we can get to know you on a more personal level. Okay?
If I stop being blocked in the camera, of course.
You're not blocked. You're there.
Yeah, well, I've had to sit back because of you.
Well, when it's your turn to do your side, you'll be sat in this chair.
No, I won't be sat in the chair. Not the amount of times that chair's been farted in.
Oh, can you not? Can you light that fag? Don't get married, fellas. Don't get married.
We're not married yet.
Yeah, I'm starting to regret it. Sig.
Yeah, it's this white thing here.
Right. So the purpose of this video, as I was trying to say, is to get to know you on a more personal level and about what we do. I've got a table of contacts here that I typed up on Facebook Messenger because who uses pens and paper nowadays? So the first one is introduction. So an introduction, I'm Alexander Natman. This is Laurie Woodman. We are both paranormal investigators. We've both got at least 5 years experience, but we've got experiences before that, before we actually bought some of the equipment and got into it really well. This stems right the way back to probably our childhoods. We're going to get into that in a little bit, which is on heading 4 profiles / about us, which we will come to. This live stream could be pretty long. I'm going to warn you now because I've put 14 things on this list that I want to talk about.
I'm not going into complete personal stuff.
No. You just go into anything that's paranormal. So, introductions we just covered. I'm Alex. This is Laurie. We sometimes have another person, but he's not available. Item 2. Plans and future events. So, as you all know, we are going Margram. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Margram Castle in South Wales in February. We've also got Dorchester Prison. We've also got Castle in North Wales, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce. But the translation of it is literally hedge when you put the Welsh word of it into English. So just give you a clue. We are looking at other places for next year, but as you all know, it's very hard to get places. They go out quite fast. We preferably don't want to go with any public groups next year because we've had bad experiences, which we're coming to at some point. Now let's get into item 3. How we got into the paranormal.
This is when I light the fan because this is going to be a long one.
Now, if we start with Laurie, she can tell us how she got into the paranormal. Bab, that's your cue to tell them how you got into it.
I'm trying to think where to actually start because
All right, while you're thinking, I'll go first then.
it goes back a long time though, Bab.
So, okay, this is going to seem a bit weird, but I'm going to try and make it as less confusing as possible. When I was a wee little boy, obviously, I was someone who grew up with ADHD, you know, I was very misbehaved at school. I was quite the rebel. And I was sent to a group for misbehaving children called Link. And this is my first paranormal experience. We went to a place called Berry Pomeroy Castle. Now, you all probably know that name. I'd be surprised if you didn't, if you live in Devon, like we do. We all know that castle, at least we should. Now, I went there with my worker in his Land Rover. He also had a Labrador. I always remember that. And the first thing that was weird is I knew where everything was in that castle. I'd never been there before, bear in mind. The only castle I'd ever seen on a TV screen in a film was probably Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the decent one with Kevin Costner, not the rubbish one with that other idiot. And he was actually quite shocked because I knew where everything was. I knew where the kitchens was. I knew what the tower was called. I knew it all, which was kind of odd considering I'd never been there. Bear in mind, I was like 5 or 6 at the time, which was very odd. Now, that is my first paranormal experience there, because how would I know all that stuff? I'd never seen a book. I'd never been there. Yet I knew instantly. Weird, right? Also on that same day. Now, for those of you that know Bay Pomeroy Castle, you know that the tower, well, not so much the tower, the gatehouse stairwell used to be accessible. And you could go right on the top of the gatehouse years ago. That's what we did back then. It's now gated off and you're not allowed up there for some reason.
Might be health and safety, I'm not sure.
Possibly, they do make silly laws. And I was looking over to the mansion shell, the big one that's still standing, and I saw someone cloaked and hooded who had the most, and I mean most, malevolent grin under his cloak. I could only see his face. If you imagine, like, his whole face was covered here and you could just see his mouth features. And I knew he was looking at me. From that day on, for several years, I had various hauntings. I had a spirit attach itself to me for several years, going right the way through school, where I met this young woman at our boarding school. I was completely being haunted constantly. It got to the point where my mother at the time had to get several priests in to get rid of it, because it attached itself to me so much that I was getting visions of horrible, horrible things. I don't even want to describe them. That's how bad they are. But, and then I met someone through my mother called Roger. He was sort of like a mentor to me down the line. He taught me how to deal with all this, and I consider him like kind of my master, if you will, because he taught me all about the spiritual world and how to act in it. And eventually the spirit attachment was broken and it left me. Eventually. It took its time. But that was my first instance of paranormal, which dragged on right the way through my childhood, which wasn't a very good one either, I might add.
I've got all the lighters.
I need the lighter, because you could literally gone out.
No, I didn't. I gave it to you lit. If you were smoking it, would it have gone out, would it?
So that is how I personally got into the paranormal. My first section. The second section is, you may or may not be aware, I used to have a lot of animals. I had 2 German Shepherds, well, 3 if you count the one that died while I was very little. And unfortunately, one of them died in 2010. And I could sense he was in my mother's bedroom at the time, the next few days. And I was adamant when I was going in to the toilet, which was between both rooms on the upstairs, that I could hear his whining. He had a specific whining because he was part German Shepherd, part Irish Wolfhound. And something just convinced me to grab my disc camera and start taking photos. Lo and behold, I capture a photo of my dog with his blue collar around his neck. We had to have him put down, you see, because he was very ill. And it's in the picture. So I sensed that without any pieces of equipment. So you've got that there. That's another thing that got me into it, because originally I started doing this because I wanted to contact him, make sure he was okay, because for about 3 years after his death in 2010, I was an absolute wreck. I didn't know what I was doing, and it went from there. But this is what got me into it years down the line. There was a third incident I will mention. I unfortunately have had a little bit of a bad history. God, this is going to be a hard one. I have unfortunately been to prison. Yes, I know, I'm a criminal. I'm so sorry. We've all done bad things when we're teenagers and we're young, dumb and stupid.
Like you were.
Like I was. Now, the incident that happened in Exeter Prison on A-Wing. as you all know, prisons are reputed to be haunted, especially when they're Victorian ones, such as Exeter is, such as Shepton Mallet is, and all the other ones. Exeter is no different. One night, I could hear someone walking around while I was in my cell, because I unfortunately got sent down for harassment. Again, young, dumb, and stupid. Hey ho. Someone was walking around the prison wing because I was on the second level above the ground floor, and I could hear someone walking around on the wing. Bear in mind, it's about 1:30 in the morning, because still to this day I don't sleep. I could hear someone walking around, and I absolutely don't kid you.
You didn't want to say that, though. You wanted to say, "I shit you not."
Whoa! I just saw an orb move past as I'm talking about this. I'm going to check that out when I rewatch this. I absolutely don't kid you. I looked out my cell thingy, because you've got a little hole you can look out of to see what's going on outside, and I saw someone with an old-fashioned lantern, which I assumed it might have just been a normal prison officer. But the cigarette keeps going out. It's a sign to quit. But the next day, I asked the head office of the prison officers, was there anyone on the landing of A Wing on such and such at 1:30? He turned around and said to me, no, the night staff didn't turn up last night. I was like, so who the hell was on the wing? I actually caused quite a stir because the entire prison was locked down to do a head count. Eep.
I remember you telling me this story.
No one had escaped. No prison officers were unaccounted for. No one had signed in for the night shift. But someone was on the landing. Spooky. So that's pretty much my 3 instances of how I got into this stuff. You know, when I look back on it, I think maybe I should have gotten into it a bit more quicker, but meh, it is what it is. Your cigarette's gone out again. You rolled it, didn't you?
It should make a difference. Rolled it properly.
But that's my instances of what got me into the paranormal, and now it absolutely fascinates me. Even though I've been possessed, I've gone through hardships, I've even had an experience of being in prison, which is why we're quite fond of prisons, by the way, for paranormal, because they are very active. It was only that one time in Exeter that we had that, which was kind of odd. You know, it comes down to the question, was it an actual haunting, or was it like a built-in recording replaying itself? There was a storm that night, come to think of it. Quite a bad one. But I will never know. I was looking forward to doing Dartmoor Prison for the paranormal, because they were meant to be closing down, but this year we heard they're staying open. It's like, great. Drats. But those are my 3 instances of how I got into the paranormal. Now, you can say what you want about them, but this is just my personal experience and what I believe. You may have different opinions. That's absolutely fine. I don't judge. But this is what got me involved. Being possessed, knowing where everything was in a castle, hearing someone outside and seeing them outside of a prison wing on the landing, and also sensing my dog that's just passed a few days ago was in my mother's bedroom. These are all things that got me into it.
And it wasn't recently when your dog died?
No, it was 2010. It was 2010. Hershey died in 2010. Jax died in 2019. So Not recent at all. And this is what made me fascinated with the paranormal. And I absolutely love to hear other people's stories too. Just like I've told mine. I'd love to hear yours too. But now we're going to go into how Laurie got into the paranormal.
They are going to have to bear with me because I barely have any memory.
She has had a stroke, by the way, guys. So bear that in mind. Her memory's not good as it used to be.
The only bit I really remember is when I was younger. Oh, no. About 4, I think? No. I was younger than that. You see, I don't want to go too much into it because it's stuff
Just
from my past.
say your story of what you saw and what you experienced. Keep it to the paranormal.
It is the paranormal, but it was before I was adopted.
Just don't have to tell people that. You just tell them what you experienced.
What, with shadows and that walking around?
Stuff like that, yeah.
That's all it was.
Why didn't you just say that?
I just did. But I couldn't work out what they were.
Anything else?
Shadows, voices, things being moved. But I didn't really think much of it because I was only young.
I thought you said you saw an old lady on the stairs or something.
The old lady on the stairs, what? In the care home?
No, when you were young. See, she's not used to this like me.
I didn't when I saw that. It doesn't help I can hardly remember anything, if I'm honest.
Yeah, as I say, guys, she has had a stroke. Only, was it last year?
Yeah.
Last year. So her memory's not great.
I tell you the time I do remember is when my granddad died, and he haunted that place for years. And I swear he still haunts that house to this day. Because in the back room at my mum and dad's, he died in there. I was up that night because I knew something, but didn't feel like that night. I think I was about 14 or something at the time. I can't really remember how old I was. Because we didn't know whether he was mucking around or not, because he used to do a lot of silly things. Do things you could say for attention a lot of the time, so we didn't know whether he was pulling a fast one or he really did actually need our help that night. But it actually turned out he'd been dead serious and he really wasn't feeling himself that night. And he didn't drink or anything, but I remember he's walking through to the lounge to get my mum and dad for something. And we told him to go back to bed because he felt better in the morning, but what we didn't know, he's actually dying at the time. And I remember getting up in the night, I was told to go back to bed, but I don't know, there was sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. Although he's walking and he was alive at the time, but there's sort of like an energy following him. If that makes sense. And I swear, I don't know how to explain it. If I'm honest, it's a really tricky one to explain. But it's like, I know the energy was from him. But it's like an energy, and I sensed the energy that was there, and I all but know what was going to happen before they did. Obviously, I didn't want to tell my dad or anything because it's my dad's dad, and I didn't really want to go and say something because he'd probably think I'm going crazy or something like that. Because my parents are not spiritual, and they think I'm coming out the loony bin or something. So I wasn't even going to say anything, and I knew the time he died. And before my dad even came into the room, my dad said, are you awake? I said, yes, Granddad's died, hasn't he? He said, how do you know that? It's because I felt a wave. I said, what do you mean you felt a wave? So it's hard to explain the wave, but I know that he passed on anyway.
Yeah.
But that energy was there, and every so often I would hear, because my granddad had asthma, and he had that sort of breathing, like a wheezy breathe. I don't know how, it's really hard to explain what his breathing was, and you'd hear it a lot. And I could still hear it for years after he died. And that room was a horrible energy. He was a temperamental person. He could be nice when he wanted to be, and he could be horrible when he wanted to be. So it's a bit of a temperamental person. But the energy was, it was strong. And where he died on the bed, I don't know what made me do this one night, but something was keeping me awake one night. So I walked into where his room was. All his stuff was in there still. We haven't put it out. I don't know what made me do this, but I sat down exactly where he died. I wish I never bothered because the energy, I wish I never did it now because the energy was quite, I don't know, it was too intense. I think I must have passed out or something that night because I remember waking up in there. My mother asked why I was in the room. I didn't know how to explain it or anything like that. It wasn't long after I heard his breathing. That's all I can really say. I can't really remember much.
Well, that's your experience that got you into it. So it's basically, it is your story.
But I know it went on longer than that, but I can't really remember much back about it. Obviously, since having the stroke, I've lost a lot of memory.
Yeah.
Can't remember hardly anything.
Tobacco. I'll roll a half decent one.
So I did try and roll a decent one. So I don't have like memory like I used to have. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing some days, let alone back then.
I'm not even going to tell them what you did the other day.
You're going on about what happened in the kitchen. I don't find that funny.
No, I don't, but it's such an easy device to use. It's kind of scary when you think about it. You forgot how to use that particular device, especially when you use it nearly every day.
And I've had it for years as well.
Right.
That's all I can really say. I can't really say anymore because I can't remember.
Okay, that's all right, Babs. So we've gone through introduction, plans and future events, how we got into the paranormal, and now we're on profiles and about us. So obviously, my name's Alex. I go by Alexander because that's my full name, but my friends call me Alex. This is Laurie. Hey?
I don't call you either.
No, not unless you're annoyed with me, then you call me Alex.
Yeah, he knows when I'm pissed off because I'm shouting by his name.
Funny enough, I'm going to cover language now in the About Us. On our videos, we don't intend to swear, but sometimes it cannot be helped. I just thought I'd quickly cover that one. Now, I'm 21. No, I'm not. Yeah, I've de-aged myself by 10 years.
You knocked a few years off there, bub.
Oh, God. Not a decade off. I'm 31 years old. Laurie is 36. We are a couple, me and Laurie. And see, originally I come from a gamer world. I used to play video games on a box and spend hours on an online server just doing weird stuff. Playing video games with people who I'd never met before. I retired, funny enough, during the pandemic in the UK. My last game was that Ghost of Chimazui, or whatever the name was called, the Japanese one. It was quite fun. But bear in mind, I don't come from so-called a spiritual background. I come from the gaming world originally. But it got to the point as I grew up that the gaming world wasn't what it used to be. And I said, screw it. I want to do something different, but something I've already sort of experienced, which is why I picked paranormal stuff. Me and Laurie have been on several ghost hunts in our time, or paranormal investigations, however you want to call it. We have mostly been to places like Berry Pomeroy because it's local to us, when we can find a driver, of course.
And if anyone does drive, I always like to make this clear, and you even know what I'm going to say here. If anyone does come with us and they drive...
Fuel's not a problem, I know.
We never, ever, ever do we mind helping towards fuel.
But going back to About Us, I decided to choose the paranormal world. And months before I even bought all the equipment, because I bought all the equipment in the pandemic. Because obviously we wasn't allowed to mix with other people. We wasn't really allowed much rights. So it was all stay at home, do what you're told, or go out on your own, which we did. we made a few friends during the pandemic towards the end of it. And that's how it started. It started going to places like Bow Pomeroy, Trinity Church, Jay's Grave, Oakhampton Castle, places like that.
Don't remind me of Oakhampton Castle.
Oh, it went from there. But it was never meant to be that. It was meant to be something that's just a little hobby, but it's got a lot bigger now for us. And now we love doing it. You know, I sort of get excited when I book a new event.
He gets overexcited and books too many sometimes.
Yeah, and then I can't afford them because we're on very limited money. One thing you're going to know about us, we are people who do not work. We can't. Laurie has full
Fibromyalgia.
That's the one. You might see her stick there. This is the stick she'd be taking on the event. She didn't have it on our last event to HMP Gloucester, but she has now.
Deteriorated over the past few months when we last went and did something.
As she said, her health deteriorated over the last few months.
And it has again recently. But that's another story.
We've not really had a great year, the pair of us.
No, and this is going to go into the new year now.
Better not for me.
It is for me.
I can't take that anymore.
I do have other health problems as well, not just that.
I know, but that's the main one that stops you doing things.
Well, no, it's not actually just that stops you doing things, it's other things as well.
So, you know, with that in mind, we can only do an investigation maybe once a month. If we were to ever turn this into a business, we'd have to really step up. And I've mentioned this before. We'd literally have to be doing like a paranormal investigation where we hire the place for, it's got to be at least twice, maybe 3 times a week to make it worth it.
Unfortunately, we would have to charge people for that. We cannot do it for free.
Yeah, we're not even going to go into that yet. I'm talking about the future.
And that was the future.
But as I say, we have to travel up to these places we go to.
We don't drive.
We don't drive. We have to do it by public transport. We're doing it in February with Margam Castle. We're travelling up there by train. I got to get the tickets literally Friday.
That's tomorrow.
I know. And then we've got the hectic Christmas shopping. Oh my God, kill me now.
I'm not being rude, it's just some of my deliveries. It seems to be taking its time.
Yeah. My hobbies are probably, well, the paranormal, definitely. My next hobby is probably history, World War II stuff and beyond and before. I like my ancient history too, you know, like Mesopotamia, Rome, Greek, Egyptian. I'm not what you'd call someone who went to like college and university. I'm not that kind of well-educated. I'm self-educated because I've learned to study myself. You know, you normally see me in a Knights Templar shirt because it's winter and it's cold, so I'm wearing my warm shirts. On events from now on, you'll probably see this t-shirt, which is obviously our own Spirit Hunters Paranormal UK. But for some reason, they put limited down here. Nah, go figure. It's almost like they want us to be a company.
No, I think we had to put that in order to print them off, or they would print them off actually.
Oh, really? Fair enough.
Because if you look at our cards there, it will say it on there as well.
Oh, yes, it does. Yeah.
I think we had to do that.
In case you haven't seen them, these are our business cards. All they are is basically the links to the channels and to the Facebook group. If people want to speak to us about something, your best bet is to contact us through the Facebook group. But we're getting off topic. We're on About Us. So I'm 31, 32. I can't actually remember.
You're 4 years younger than me. That's all I know.
I've had a history of being a little bit of a nuisance in the past. Ex-gamer, history buff, and an animal lover. On to you, Laurie.
What do they really want to know about me?
Well, you just tell them about you, who you are, what your name is, what you do.
Well, I think everyone knows my bloody name by now, for goodness sake.
Yeah, it's not spelled L-O-R-I though, like the Americans spell it. It's spelled L-A-U-R-I-E. I should think then.
I had to actually think of my own name then.
Well, don't forget, I've been put under the knife 4 times this year, so it's kind of screwed my brain a little bit. So just tell them about yourself.
Most people know about me anyway, so it makes absolutely no difference what I say now.
Well, tell the people what
Absolutely shit at doing stuff like this, I really am.
you are, but you're going to have to get better, especially if this one day becomes a business, which we'll go into. Funny enough, that is the next topic. Right, we'll come back to this topic because she's got stage fright, so to speak.
I'm just about to speak then.
Oh, go on then, come on.
Now look what you've caused by rushing people. People will learn this as they go on.
You want to look at the camera, Bones?
Yes, I know. I love doing what I do anyway, because I wouldn't do it otherwise, would I?
You might want to speak up a bit.
How loud do you want me to speak?
You preferably want that little symbol down there that's flashing while I'm talking to go to 2 dots rather than 1. Otherwise they can't hear you.
Right, can they hear me now?
Yeah, just talk a little bit louder like I'm doing so they can hear you, otherwise they won't be able to hear anything.
I'd be grateful to hear me if I shout anymore. Obviously I do enjoy what I'm doing, otherwise I wouldn't do it, would I?
Well, exactly.
What people will learn is I do have learning difficulties, don't I? So I don't understand like you do.
Yeah, she's got a little bit hard to understand things.
Because I've got my learning difficulties plus I'm autistic. I'm not going into everything while I'm on here.
No, you don't have to go into anything personal.
I see a lot of health problems, but I just get on with it because you have to. Plus there's people worse than me when you think about it. What's going on there?
Oh, hello. We've got one comment. Craig Beecham. Hi, guys. Hello, bro. How you doing?
But I would never give up the paranormal world, regardless what I do anyway. As I said, I'm shit at doing things like this, and I've only sat up because it says nobody can hear me.
You'll get better.
Looking at a screen, it's like talking to myself.
These little dots, you see where it goes double green here? 2 dots. That means the mic can hear us. But I wonder if I can turn it up without actually doing anything. Hold on. No, I can't. It's not in midstream anyway. It's kind of annoying, but never mind.
I can't go and stand up beside him, so I can't. And I'm very clumsy, as you can see.
Yeah, and she's very clumsy.
So there's an example.
Right, that will do about the about. Oh. Not bad. How's you two doing? Sorry I could not be there today. Yeah, no worries, mate. The person in the comments commenting now is also what I'd call an honourable member.
Can you take that off? I'm going to have to clean up this mess.
He's got another life as well outside of the paranormal, and he's as good as gold.
Use the floor towel because I've made a bit of a mess.
That's not the floor towel, that's your bath towel.
Yeah, well, it's the floor towel now.
Yeah, we're all right, mate. We're just we're preparing for the insanity tomorrow for everyone rushing around to get a Christmas dinner.
And I've just tipped the drink everywhere.
And Laurie's just tipped her drink everywhere. She's probably going to blame you for that, by the way.
It was funny how he came online and it happened, wasn't it? It wouldn't have happened otherwise, would it? It's just funny that.
I called it. Right.
I do intend to drink this drink, but...
Or wear it, whichever is easier.
I'll use this towel instead now. And I've made a bit like a precinct, so it's gone over then. Right, try again.
The young man here, Craig Beecham, guys, he's also coming with us to Margram, Dorchester, hopefully, and the one in North Wales.
Right, try again. I've made it right messy.
What
You
is?
will find that this is me. This is my natural clumsiness. I do laugh at accidents, but that's just me.
I bet he's absolutely wetting himself right now.
So if you do have an accident and I laugh, do not take it personally. That is just what I do. I laugh at everyone's accident, including my own children's accidents. How I even took that over, I do not know. You know these lighters you found that did work?
Yeah.
They probably don't now.
As long as it's not any of my ones. Oh, hang on, the door's
Excuse me a
going.
moment.
I'll grab it. 2 seconds, guys. Door's just gone.
2 minutes.
What's this?
That'll be my parcel.
12, yeah. There you go.
Surprisingly, it works. You see, that's just the first accident today. I tell you now, I'll have more accidents. It's not the stupidest accident I've had. I've had a hell of a lot more than this.
Right, moving on. He's normally here with us live streaming. He couldn't be here today because he's got his other life, pretty much.
I've ripped the towel.
Which it's up to him if he decides to discuss when he's in live stream. I personally won't mention it unless he wants to. Moving on. How we would like SHPUK to grow. Now, that stands for Spirit Hunters Paranormal UK. Originally, it was Spirit Hunters Torquay because we are based in Torquay, but we only did it as Torquay when we were just staying in Devon. Now, how we'd like the group page, the channel to grow is we want to go out to different places, do some investigations, capture some evidence, which we're happy to share with people. You know, one day in the far, far future, I'd like to go out of the UK, which we're also coming up on this itinerary, which I'm looking on my phone now, at some point. But that is far in the blooming future. You know, we're talking maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 years before we go international, but slow and steady. We'd like to grow as a channel and a group. We'd like to grow as a channel and a group.
Try not to laugh.
Where we can work together within the paranormal world, share footage. I always message other groups to see if we can join them. And there's another orb. I've got an orb in my live stream. I wonder who that is.
Probably laughing at me, making a prat out myself.
Probably.
On telly.
It's in the air though, which is odd. I like to work with other groups and work with other people so we can establish one mutual work together, mutual efforts of a team. I'm always a team player. I'm happy to share footage with the other groups and the other teams.
We always do a shout out as well.
Always do a shout out with our ones we've done with Haunted Happenings. I've always tagged them in it. And I've always said who they were. The one exception where I didn't tag someone in it was Shrewsbury Prison, and I'm not going into that because that wasn't Haunted Happenings. It wasn't Oracle Paranormal Mediumship. It was someone completely different, which we're not going into because I've already raged about that.
If you've seen some of our other live streams, you'll know who we're aiming at.
So how we want the channel and that to grow is we want to meet new people, make new friendships. We don't mind if you're male or female. We don't mind if your religion, your creed, your skin color. It doesn't bother us. We're here to work together within the paranormal field and learn from each other. Some of you might be able to teach me things I don't know, and vice versa. I might be able to teach you things that you don't know, as an example. When I say I don't mean I personally, but us as a group. Because in my book, it's all about working together. I've contacted a few groups, for instance, and a lot of them, I must say, are quite greedy. One group wanted £500 extra from me to film.
You told them to do one, didn't you?
I told them in the most politest way is, thanks. I think we'll stick with the group we're going with at the moment, which is what I've done. It would be totally different words if it was actually what I said to them. because yeah. But we want this channel to grow together. We work with other groups, and we go from there. You know, we will only upload stuff if it's good evidence.
I've got it all in the shoe.
This is why I do the raw footage is first and foremost. It's uploaded raw footage. The second is highlights. So highlights is stuff that is as close as possible guaranteed to be paranormal. And then the third is obviously audio stuff. So, for instance, at places like Warmley Clock Tower near Bristol, we caught, well, personally, I caught with my EVP wristwatch, not an EVP, audio recorder wristwatch. I caught a female shriek or scream going down the stairs to collect the other team's bear. That group doesn't exist anymore. They were called Oracle Paranormal Mediumship. They were brilliant. We went to SHPUK Mallet with them. They're absolutely outstanding, but unfortunately they have folded because they haven't been heard from in nearly 2 years. So they're gone, unfortunately. And they've kind of inspired me to do this myself one day. There's a lot of moving parts before we become big, if you will. I don't want fame. I don't want fortune. I want to connect to the other side and help other people connect to the other side. I don't do this for views. I don't do this for subs. I do this purely because I enjoy it. And I don't get paid for it.
Right, try again.
I fund it myself, you know, because we need, obviously, travel up to the place and back, so that's travel. We also need hotels and also the cost of the event. Now, one day, as I say, I would like to do it where we're hiring places privately and we have it as a small group where I would buy an extra amount. Say, like, if the place is 300 for, I don't know, the hours of 9 till 3 in the morning, 9 at night to 3 in the morning the next day, I would work out what's the way where I am preferably non-profit, because I don't want to make a profit from it unless it goes massively big. It would have to be somewhere like, I don't know, it'd have to all fit in, and it's a lot of work and about. I'd need an accountant, we'd need the insurance stuff, we'd need a lot of stuff. And at the moment, it's just all a little plan in my head. There's a lot of moving parts, as I say, so it's no biggie, but it might be one day. So, like I say, item 5, how we would like Spirit Hunters Paranormal UK to grow. We just want it to grow slow and steady, make some friends along the way, share evidence with each other, and support each other, you know, which is what the paranormal world should be all about. It should be about working together and helping out each other. Item 6, moving on. Our scariest experience. Ooh. Now, me personally, our scariest experience was not that long ago. It was this year.
You always say when I got bloody possessed, don't you?
She got possessed at Oakhampton Castle.
I knew that was going to be brought up.
And I tell you what, I've never been more scared in my life. The second scariest would be when the alarm went off in the execution room of SHPUK Mallet Prison, because I mean, it went off while we were doing a communication thing, and
it was loud enough. We actually thought it was the fire alarm. It was that loud.
Yeah, because you've got A wing, you've got the midsection with the execution room, and then you've got B wing off there, and we were between the two, and we heard the alarm in A wing. We originally thought it was a fire alarm, so
we got up and
actually went to investigate. to find out, no, it had been a laser trip that had been tripped and no one was in the area at the time. So that would be our second scariest experience.
I knew you were going to bring up about the possession.
Third. Now, this is a bit of an awkward one, this one, because this involves someone we no longer work with. If Laddie's watching, he'll know who I'm going to talk about. We went to Jay's grave once, me, Laurie, and a guy called Chris.
Do we have to speak about it?
Yes, it's part of our experiences. It's all part of our knowledge. Now, we were by Jay's grave, just trying to communicate like you do. And all of a sudden, and it's caught on camera on our videos if you want to go and watch it somewhere, it's caught that there's a massive scream. And I mean massive. To the point it put the fear of God in all three of us. So those are probably our most scariest experiences. Now, item 7. What is your most scariest experience doing paranormal investigations?
Leave a comment in the...
Comment below.
If you're not comfortable commenting, you can.
Or message us on Facebook. I will leave links to our group. No point me leaving links to the YouTube channel. You're on it. So I'll just leave links to the group. You can private message me or Laurie. Let us know who you are, though, so we know. Yeah, I know you do, bro. But they might not. He just said, yeah, I know who you're on about. And he's got a laughing face. But what is your most scary experiences? Craig, since you're here, why don't you tell us your most scariest experience? I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to share, by all means.
Not your bloody turn.
It's not my turn, is it?
You want me to roll it?
Rats.
Rats, yeah. I don't want to touch my drink after last time. Right in the middle of trying to say something and rolling that up.
And you wonder why drinks are banned from the computer area.
Right, that's why I'm not allowed near the computer, because although he says to sit in that chair, let me just smile like I've knocked his drink over near it.
Yeah. Okay, so Craig's just commented. Craig Beecham, a very good mate of mine, almost like a brother from another mother. He was possessed at Woodchester Mansion. Funny enough, he was actually with this Chris at the time.
I swear he lets off negative energy.
Why is that?
Chris does.
Oh, him. I thought about Craig. It's like, what's he done now?
Nothing yet, unless he would like to do something.
Oh, God. He was possessed at Woodchester Mansion.
Where have you put the filters?
I think it was the last one. Yeah, it was the last one, Babs.
What haven't you done that you're meant to
Well,
do?
the filters are over there with you.
Right, you're not rolling anymore because you don't do anything I ask.
That's because there isn't any here, Babs. He was possessed at Woodchester Mansion, which we have tried to inquire about, but they never get back to me. And part of me thinks I'm wasting my time. Because either they're fully booked or they just can't be bothered to answer someone who's low key, which is what we are. You know, we're not trying to be like most haunted and
we will never be most haunted.
No.
Most haunted is fake.
no, I'm
We're
not talking about what they do. I'm talking about how they go to multiple places. And I know this
Idiot to believe that.
because recently I inquired about USS Missouri, doing an investigation there. Now, I know for a fact most haunted have been to one of those ships. I can't remember if it's the Missouri or one of the other sister ships of the Iowa class battleships.
So what battleship, sir?
The Iowa class.
I thought you said Iona.
No, Iowa. IOWA.
That's the name in America.
Yes, Einstein, it is.
And by the way, you'll find me and him are very sarcastic to each other as time goes on.
Yeah, it's sort of like a... I wouldn't say it's a love-hate relationship, but...
It's not a personal thing, it's just who we are with each other.
Yeah, that's a good one, Craig. Craig's just mentioned about how he went to Chapel Woods. You've left one out there. We went to Chapel Woods and we were followed by a demon and we kept seeing glowing red eyes in the darkness. Needless to say, we hightailed it out of there and got out of there. I mean, we did have one person with us who was whining like a baby.
Convenient, when he was with us again.
Yeah. You sure you're not the demon incarnated, mate?
I'm not on about him.
I mean, our mate doesn't help himself. He's got all tats all up his arm. He's got... Has he got a... You're going to have to remind me what tats you've got. I'm sure you've got some demonic ones.
I actually forgot about that time at Chapel Woods.
I haven't. I remember most of our paranormal stuff. It's basically our forte of what we enjoy.
Do you want to try having a stroke and see how much you remember after that?
That's why I'm here, so I can help you. There was also a time, it wasn't so much a scary thing. It was kind of it was a little bit...
I've just imagined another experience I had in this very flat.
We'll go into that in a bit. It was a little bit, I wouldn't say it was 18 plus, but I wouldn't say it was PG either. You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Go on.
When the woman was enjoying touching you in a certain really not appropriate place. Do you remember? Or do I need to remind you?
What, touching his arse? You mean that? That very fun one?
Yeah. He's probably forgotten.
Oh, was that when we first took him there? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's when we first met him. Unfortunately through someone else,
For
but...
pig nose, yeah. Sorry, but I can't stand that man.
You'll understand, the audience watching, that I'm the passive one. I'm the one who always tries to find a way to make something work unless it absolutely can't. Laurie's the one who's quite judgmental.
I'm not judgmental. I just say what you don't say. That's not being judgmental.
Well, either way. It's like the good cop, bad cop. I'm the good cop, she's the bad cop. So to speak.
Apparently, I'm the Grinch, not the Grinch.
You are the Grinch at
I'm
Christmas.
the Grinch at Christmas time, and apparently he says I have anger issues, but I don't have anger issues. I'm just a bit blunt with my words.
You
That's
failed
it.
anger management class. You see, we went to school together, so I know. You failed anger management.
I never went to anger management. That's why. It proves I don't have it.
Well, you do, but you just not managed it. It's what anger management's about. It's about
Why do I
managing
need to
your
manage
anger.
something that does not need to be managed?
Because you can't go hitting out, and fortunately, it's not how
I
the world
don't
works.
hit out, I just say things how they are.
I'm not going to mention it because this is not paranormal, this stuff I'm mentioning, but you have had some pretty close calls where you've nearly punched someone.
Depends what they've done.
Present included in company.
The other day was a close one. Someone pissed me off.
So, looking at the itinerary.
Let's just say Asda. Does that give you a clue?
Right, we're going to move on now. If you guys have had any paranormal, scary experiences, by all means comment below and I will show them in the next live, sort of like a Q&A, if you will. And also, if you want us to do a Q&A, I'm not speaking like a toffee nose.
Have lighter then.
I've got one there.
Don't work now. I've got to let it dry out.
Oh, gosh, it breaks everything.
It's full of monster.
He says, yes, I have a satanic cross. Yeah, he's, I'm not going to say what he is, what he's doing at the moment, but,
Shut up, bud.
yeah, I just leave it as that, I think. But he's a good guy. You can't judge him.
Apparently I'm judgmental, but yet I don't judge him for what he does.
Item 8. Our favourite paranormal location, UK. Now, This one's a difficult one because we've been quite a few places. We've been to Shepton Mallet, we've been to Gloucester Prison, we've been to Barry Pomeroy Castle, we've been to Oakhampton Castle, we've been to Trinity Church, Jay's Grave, Christ, Shrewsbury Prison.
Done the Hairy Hands. Is it the Hairy Hands?
Doesn't count. That's a myth.
Which,
I'm on about paranormal investigations.
That is meant to be paranormal, but by the way, don't waste your time going down that road. It's not true.
I've actually lost count because she's interrupted me now. So I'll start again. Barry Pomeroy, Trinity Church,
Interrupting him.
Jay's Grave, Oakhampton Castle, Shepton Mallet, Gloucester, Shrewsbury.
We've done a Ancient Ram.
Ancient Ram, but that's on my next list.
We've done many places.
But can you stop interrupting me? You're making me forget.
I'm not interrupting you. I'm trying to round you. Stupid boy, you shouldn't forget.
Yes. I see somebody who could set her on fire.
There you go. I can't be without you.
Craig says pentagram and the sign of Lucifer. Yeah, he's not a devil worshipper. I don't think he is. But he does have a lot of tats on him. He looks like a member of a well-known MC, which I will not mention because I don't drop MC names on my channel. If they sponsor me and they tell me to drop names, I will, but I won't until then.
So shut up.
So I won't be saying anything of that sort. I myself am an 81 supporter as well. If you know what that means, then you know. But I'm just a supporter. I'm not a member, nor have I ever been.
Not paranormal.
But it just gives you a clue of what we're all like. Yeah, our favourite location. Oh my God, where we had the most activity. I want to say it's a cross between Shepton Mallet Prison and Oakhampton Castle. Because when we went Oakhampton Castle the second time with someone completely new, again who we've fallen out with for some reason, we had so much activity. I mean, she was possessed and speaking fluent French. And at Shepton Mallet, we had alarms go off. We had various EVPs caught on the camcorder. So it's between those two, between Shepton Mallet and Oakhampton Castle. Now, moving on to item 9, what's your most wanted paranormal list to do an investigation, UK top 5? This one is quite easy for me. I'd love to do the Tower of London. I'd love to do the Tower of London. Virtually impossible because it's still a royal residency to this day. I'd like to do as well places like Devonport Dockyards, which is where our naval vessels are housed. Again, virtually impossible. There are other places as well, UK wise. My list for abroad is, oh God, it's long.
We won't even go there with that one.
I'd like to do HMS Victory as well, which is in Southampton, I think. Was it Portsmouth? It's one of them.
I'm sure you can find out.
That's 3. And then my next 2 would probably be any asylum, because we all love asylums. You know, like old mental hospitals, like
dying to do one of
where they had things like TB or stuff like that.
That'd be really interesting, I think.
And then my final one for the UK, which we could do, but it's a long way for me and Laurie, is Chillingham Castle. It's right on the border of Scotland, virtually.
I'm adamant we were talking about that last night.
We were. Those are my top 5 I'd love to do. Some of those are impossible. So my top 5 to do that are possible but quite far away is Chillingham, 30 East Drive, any asylum, there are places like in Wales, Scotland and Ireland I'd love to do. I'd love to do Leap or Lep Castle in Ireland. Still part of the UK technically. Yeah.
Funny how that fag's lit, isn't it?
So those are the ones I'd love to do. Won't be able to do them yet because we're not big enough.
But it's all stuff for the future to look into.
Yeah. I'd also love to be able to do like HMS Victory. I don't know if it's possible yet. I have messaged them, but we'll find out. Oxford Castle's also on my list because it's one where the witches from Pendle were held while their trial was going on, which Pendle's another location, but it's an outside location, so it's weather permitting. Another one I could think of is Warwick. We were meant to do it this year, but unfortunately things happened and meh.
Someone got overexcited.
Dover's another one, which we will do at some point.
We were going to do it again this year, but
it might be
an emergency happened.
Me, Laurie, and this mate of ours, but I don't know yet. We'll see how things turn out. I don't know yet. I haven't got a fucking clue. Excuse my language.
It slips out by mistake.
Item 10. What's your most disappointing paranormal location UK? This again is a cross. We have been to Ford House in Newton Abbot. I've got to say it was as quiet as the grave. Not even a peep. But we've also been to the Ancient Ram. And it was dead.
That was very disappointing, wasn't it? After everything we heard about that.
Yeah, I mean,
something.
I don't judge people, but
I think it might have been the crosses that did it.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I'm more thinking people have still got these places open as a gimmick. Because we had nothing at Ford House, absolutely nothing. And at the Ancient Ram Inn, all we had was a cat's meow at the top of the attic stairs. That's
near
it.
The witch's room.
That is it. No, it wasn't near the witch's room. It was between the witch's room and the bishop's room. It was in that corridor that goes up to the attic. That's all we caught. Nothing else. The rest was completely blank, which was rather disappointing because we'd paid a lot of money to travel by train and stay in a hotel not far from there.
I am going to look at doing that again at some point.
Yeah, at some point. But
just to see, maybe a different time. We did it near Halloween last time, but I'm going to do it at a different time this time just to see maybe it was the wrong time to go. I don't know. I'm going to try it again one more time. I'm always happy to give something another shot.
Yeah, so that would be our most disappointing locations for paranormal. It's probably Ford House, Newton Abbot, and the Ancient Ram Inn in Gloucester. Sure.
What about Shrewsbury?
No, it's not disappointing.
The group we went with, it was more disappointing in the area, wasn't it?
Right, moving on. Item 11. Most wanted locations for paranormal investigations outside the UK. Now, this one is quite simple for me. I would like to do West Virginia Prison because it is reputed to be extremely haunted. I'd like to do the prison that was shot in Shawshank Redemption as well. I'm not sure of the name. I will look into it. I'd also like to do the Queen Mary that's anchored off LA, somewhere in LA, Los Angeles. I'd have to look into that. I know it's a permanent museum now. You can stay there. You can do paranormal investigations. It's all sorts, and people have got a lot of hauntings from there because a lot of people died tragically. My phone's gone off again. I'd also like to do places like Colditz Castle in Germany.
What castle, sir?
Colditz Castle in Germany. It was a prisoner of war camp during the war. You see, places outside the UK, there are quite a few. There's too many to name, really. I'd also like to do Pearl Harbor, but again, this is one of the ones that is impossible because it is still to this day a military base. Still to this day, they have active servicemen there, active navies, and it is impossible. It's a shame, but not a lot you can do. I'd also like to do the Conjuring House in the States. It's a place where the walls bleed, apparently, and I'd love to experience that myself.
Have you ever watched anything like that?
Many times.
I recognise them all.
But, you know, these are all things that we won't be able to do just yet because we'd have to get hotels once again. We'd have to travel to the airport, travel across the water on a plane. So, you know, it's a while off this stuff. There's also various abandoned buildings and castles and things like that scattered across Europe I'd like to do. But again, it all depends if that venue allows it or if it's classed as trespassing, because we will never trespass on land. No way.
We won't break into
No. I won't do that. I have a bit more respect for people than that.
Something I can say with you, Renee, and you can even disagree with me. Are we or are we not very respectful to the dead and for people's stuff?
Going off topic, Babs, we've got to stick to topics, or else people are going to get confused. This is why I've done an itinerary.
You're the one that gets confused. Poos, you.
So yeah, those will be our top 5 locations outside the UK. There are other places as well outside, but I'd be here all day. Waverley Hills Sanitarium, now that would be good. I've seen videos on that before, and people say you meet your doppelganger. It's a German word. It means double. And that sounds quite interesting. You meet your evil twin.
One of you is bad enough without another one of you.
You know, I was going to say right back at you.
Both had the same thought then, didn't we?
We did. Moving on.
Another comment.
What was it? I'll just read in the comments, guys. I'll read it out to you. Craig Beecham, our mate, he said, I found an abandoned building in Brixton that's worth it. I've been there before with he who should not be named. Lord Voldemort.
Chris, the wanker, that person.
Oh, him. I thought he was talking about Lord Voldemort. Found a video on my phone when I went in, and you need to see the video. It's crazy. Well, when you get a bit of free time, you can come up. But at the moment, you're very busy between your work and your second work, if you know what I mean.
I said other duties.
Yeah, don't make it obvious.
Well, it's not obvious. It's just saying other duties. That can mean anything.
Right, if we have them at the door now, that's your problem.
That's not my problem. I said other duties.
Yeah, you're making it obvious by saying duties.
You're making it obvious by making a fucking scene out of it.
I'm not making a fucking scene out of it. Right. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to do that, bro, we can do, but it depends on when you're free from, as Laurie said, your other duties. I'm not going to say what it is because it's no one's business.
It obvious.
It's called live streaming, Babs. You talk about things.
Don't make it obvious.
I'm not making
It'll be
it
your
obvious.
fault now.
Right. Article 12, as I said. Favourite piece of paranormal equipment. Now, for me, I would go with my favourite piece of paranormal equipment. You see it on me no matter what when I'm doing investigations, is my full spectrum camcorder. I've always got it. The reason is, it picks up a hell of a lot. It's picked up people whistling back at Laurie at Shepton Mallet. It's picked up.
I've gone, and you hear it back.
It's picked up people talking in completely unoccupied halls. It's even picked up people in prisons. Our last one we did, which was Gloucester, we went off with 2 Welsh ladies who wanted to join us and help investigate that way.
We didn't mind.
We didn't mind, apart from the fact that they were using phone apps, which we personally don't believe in. We just don't, because phone apps are, I don't trust them. But that's another story. That probably comes under the article a bit later. But my favourite piece would probably be the full spectrum camcorder. And a close second would be the Flux 2 paranormal response device, the little triangle thing. You might have seen it before.
Yes or no one, that one.
Yeah, well, it goes green or red,
Yeah,
which means yes or no. But we've had quite a lot of experience with that. And funny enough, I think Craigie Boy was there when we first used that.
I actually quite like that one because it's so accurate and all that.
And she started playing with it on the bench, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, going yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
It got really confusing.
It's like, which one is it?
Least favourite piece of equipment for paranormal. As Craig just said, his favourite piece of equipment is his IR camera, which is similar to a full spectrum camcorder, only it takes photos and video. Camcorder can only take photos, I think. Video, rather.
Dipstick.
See, I've got an IR camcorder as well, but I've got attachments like that and a rig to brighten it up. It's you might be able to see it if I put it on.
We're not here to show how the equipment works, right?
No, we're not, but
So what are you playing at?
because I'm just showing people what it looks like so they know. Right, so if we turn off the light, now if I put this here, it turns everything purple. See, that's purple. That is what you all see when I film.
Not fully dark, so you won't get to see it properly.
It's also got ultraviolet, which does help as well. But it's a very useful little device. All our equipment's been bought from mostly Ghost Stock. Funny enough, I think I'll charge that because it probably needs charging. So yeah, full spectrum and infrared are very, very similar. And they're both very useful for the paranormal field. I've caught many things with my camcorder. And I expect everyone does when they've got full spectrum, because it tones the light. So it's between, you see, with people, what we don't know is when you're alive, we're on a certain frequency. And when you're dead, you're on a totally different frequency. Now, to understand it, for instance, when spirits speak, when we capture an EVP as an example, it is very fast and you have to either slow it down. I've just seen another orb in the top of the screen. Someone's watching us live stream from beyond the grave, I think. And it is all jumbled until you slow it down a bit, because they're speaking really fast compared to what we speak.
And it doesn't sound like how we talk.
No.
This is what people get mixed up with. Like how we talk now, it won't be as clear as that.
No.
It is a totally different. It won't sound like what they did when they were alive, in other words. It will sound completely different.
Sound completely different.
That's the best way to explain it, isn't it?
And, you know, so that's why the camcorder for me, especially the full spectrum light, or IR, whatever you want to call it, that is my favourite piece of equipment, because we've caught not only video, but EVPs as well on top of the video. This is why I go through it once to check it, then I go through it again to double check it, and then I go through it one more time to check for audio.
And you do put your headphones in, don't you, to make sure you've not missed anything?
He says, I'm back, signal keeps cutting out, for fuck's sake. His words, not mine. Yeah, that's all right, bro. You're not exactly in the most best area, are you? For
Also,
signal.
when there's more than one spirit and they're all talking at the same time, that can be a bit tricky to what they're saying, because sometimes they all talk at once, don't they? And we're trying to work out what they're saying and have to sometimes say to them, look, one at a time, so we can try and get what you're trying to tell us.
Yeah.
That can get a bit confusing, can't it? When they
Yeah,
do
it
that.
can a bit. Next item.
It's like a shopping list, what you're doing there.
Item 13, least favourite piece of paranormal equipment. Now, this could be something you've used and you've been disappointed. Now, I was going to try and get an obvious device because I heard they're good. But I've also heard from someone who's also experienced, who we're going with to North Wales next year, that they're a pile of crap. And they will react and give you words even in a non-haunted location. Which has kind of put me off getting one. But I'm classing pieces of equipment that I currently own. So the least piece of paranormal equipment I've got that I least use. I don't want to say cat balls because they have worked for us before. But it's probably a Ouija board. I don't believe in them. I think they are very much, it's all about the human mind that controls them, not the spirits. That's just my personal opinion, because they're very, they're smooth, the board, so you can slip and slide easily. For instance, if you scattered baby oil all over the blooming spirit board and then put the picture thing there, it would slide like crazy anyway. It wouldn't make a difference.
Well,
So
we do have a couple, but they are rarely used.
I'm very skeptical on that.
It's more me that will use one.
The next one would be dowsing rods. Again, I'm skeptical on that because they're easy to move, and all it takes is the wind to blow, and they can move like that.
Are you on about the rods we were trying to work
a
while ago, and they went?
So that's probably my least favourite piece of equipment. It's
but
between
they're not your equipment, any of them. They're my ones you're going on about.
Get to you in a minute, bro. Just let me finish what I'm saying. You're getting as bad as ever interrupting me now. Everyone's doing it. It's between spirit boards, which I'm very skeptical about, because everyone can write a name on it. It's like that thing that was going on YouTube a while ago called Charlie. You have a pencil and you put yes, no, and stuff, and you go Charlie, blah blah blah, and it's meant to do things. It's like, what? Okay. I'm skeptical. That's all I'm saying. Now, with the dowsing rods, I'm also skeptical because they just slide so easily. So pieces of equipment that we've got in our possession as a group, those are the two things I'm skeptical about, and I think are the least useful.
Again, I use both of them, don't I?
Yeah, but I still don't believe in them.
I can't convince him, but...
All right. Craig's least favourite piece of equipment, got to be trigger objects. Every time I use them, nothing has happened. Yeah, I'd go for that. But it's getting a trigger object that works for the situation. For instance, if we was to go to an abandoned church, monastery, chapel, whatever, and we put crucifixes down, we might get something as an example. It's like we want to take the rampart bed. It's in this box somewhere. It might be in that one over there. I don't know.
What's that bear up there? The pink one.
That's not a rampart bear. Because there's a child there. There's Isabella. So we could communicate with her with that little bear, because it does talk back when people are talking, and we were thinking about doing that, but then things happened and
we never did it.
People took a step back. But it is what it is. 14. Item 14 is probably the most easiest one ever. Our next video, what we will be doing. Our next video, unless we do something local or, spur of the moment.
I have got someone who did ask to do something.
Yeah, we're waiting to see what they're doing, if they want to do something, which we will offer to our other member as well if he wants to come.
I need to make sure that my friend is okay with that, though.
Yeah, we need to make sure that, obviously, but should be fine. Our next video is generally going to be Margraham Castle. I've always wanted to go there. It's got a hell of a reputation. It's got a film about it as well, but I take the film with a pinch of salt. I don't think we're going to be captured in the spirit world and we are stuck there for eternity. I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, my last will and testament is delete my bloody internet browser history. I mean it. That's a bit of a joke. Not appropriate for paranormal.
Why to make the last bit of the joke in it?
Tobacco.
Sorry?
Please.
I don't even know where I've been.
So, yeah, I don't think that's how it's going to happen. But honestly, if I do die, for Christ's sake, delete my browser history.
But there's one problem. Good luck getting into his computer. It's got fucking locks and everything.
I got locks, passwords, firewalls, you name it.
Not that I've got any reason to get into it.
Now, unless we do some stuff with Craigie Boy here and the other guy in the meantime, because bear in mind, Margraham Castle's not till February, so it's a couple months away yet.
I'm not saying anything on here. I'll talk about that when we come off camera because I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah. So unless we do some with those two, we probably won't upload anything till February when we do Margraham. There is a few sites around Margraham I want to do separate from the Margraham event. Now, I was actually going to put on our WhatsApp message group that we've got that's only for members and trainee members, which Boyo is as well, which this other guy who's a friend of Laurie's will become if he passes the basic test to see if he can handle it.
If he's anything like he was in school, he'll fucking handle it.
And it's going to come down to it whether it's far away from Margraham. We're staying actually just outside Port Talbot, so it all depends how far these places are. If we can get to them, fine. If we can't, it will probably just be Margraham. But we'll do other stuff as well while we're there, if we can. So, yeah.
Depends on my walking as well.
That's what I'm talking about. She's always got to interrupt this woman. Anyone want her? She's free to her good home. We'll moan at you for doing absolutely nothing.
I don't always moan at everything.
You bloody do.
And if I didn't go on, nothing could get done.
She nags me like crazy.
But I leave for about 2 minutes and you'll call me.
SOS. Save our souls.
Can I test the stick on your head to see how hard it hurts?
You might
stop
crack
aggravating me.
Aggravating you? Drive me mad.
Or I play snooker.
You can't.
What a bet.
Oop, you dropped the filter. So yeah.
I'm not felt on the floor. I haven't got enough as it is.
That's probably our next event, unless we're going to do this house that Boyo has mentioned. Oh, well, that missed. So it probably will be February for Margraham. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed this live that we've done for nearly 1 hour 35 minutes. Jesus Christ, I've never been this live in my entire life. Not even when I was an international porn star. There's another joke.
What does he tell me not to do?
It's called a joke.
Yeah, when I try and make it,
it's called making a joke, Pats.
So if I'm not allowed to make it,
so
nor are you.
We've gone into quite a few details. I will go through it, what we've gone through now, and if you have any questions, if you want to send us some questions, by all means, ask. We are not judgmental.
We're not judgmental.
I said we are not judgmental. I don't see what the problem with that is. You see, the trouble is, guys, in all fairness, I was brought up with a rod. She was brought up with a silver spoon. She's very snobby at times. Yes.
Actually, I'm not, because I actually live a poor life.
Yeah, but you brought up in a rich house.
I didn't ask to be brought up in a rich house, did I?
You ate fucking roast dinner every day.
Yes, I ate 3 times a day. I had a roast dinner every Sunday. I had fish and chips every Friday.
What I see you stolen?
I haven't got it. That's the joke.
No, you haven't. It's all right.
I want an apology now.
I'm sorry.
No, a proper apology.
Oh, sorry, you wanted to stuff. I'm so snobby.
You really are a fucking idiot. I didn't ask to be brought up like that.
But what I'm saying is she is a little less understanding. But we've gone through a lot of topics today.
Actually, I have more understanding of what people are. It's not my fault I'm autistic.
We've gone through a lot of topics today. Oh, yeah. You need new papers, by the way.
That's what these are for.
I'll just quickly go through them very briefly. Bollocks.
People are probably bored of you now.
So, we've gone through introduction about who me and Laurie are. And a subsection of that is we go out with a guy called Craig as well on paranormal. Item 2, plans and future events. We've gone through that. 3, how we got into it. We've explained our side of the story and what we've done.
Even throwing my drink on the floor.
Her dropping her drink, which will be quite funny. 4, profiles / about us. Again, gone through that. 5, how we'd like Spirit Hunters Paranormal UK to grow. We've gone through that. Start off slow, but eventually do stuff outside the UK and abroad and further. You know. Cigarette's gone out again. Item 6, our scariest experience, which we've gone through that. We said it was probably Oakhampton Castle when
the silver spoon got possessed.
When the rich girl got possessed.
I ain't rich. I assure you, I ain't rich. There is literally 0 in my bank.
Item 8, our favourite paranormal location. We're going through that. It is probably a cross between Shepton Mallet and Oakhampton Castle because they were very active, both of them. Item 9, most wanted list to do a paranormal investigation UK. We've gone through that. Most wanted for me would be Tower London. Virtually impossible though. Item 10, what's your most disappointing paranormal location? The Ram, definitely. And a cross between Ford House and Newton Abbot. Most wanted list for paranormal locations outside the UK. Again, Waverly Hills Sanatorium, West Virginia Penitentiary, Colditz Castle in Germany, and a few other places like that. Item 12, favourite piece of paranormal equipment, full spectrum camcorder without a doubt. Least favourite piece of equipment, spirit boards and dowsing rods. 14, we've gone over the next video, and 15 is the final one. We won't be very active for a few, well, unless we find something to do with either Craig or Laurie's mate.
I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he'd want it broadcasted.
Precisely. What was I saying? We don't know if we'll do anything between now and then, but if we do, it will appear here. It will appear on the group on Facebook. In fact, I'm going to quickly share the group in the comments so you guys can look at it and you can see the group if you want to. Because I'm always trying to do things like that. Oh my God, this is where I fail. I just share.
I did this last time, didn't it?
Share. Copy link. Right. So the link to the group on Facebook that we're on in the comments below. It will just take you to our group. You have to be approved by me or Laurie, the current admins.
You must agree to the rules first or your request will be declined straight away.
As she said, you must agree to the rules. You know, there are rules in place. I will go through them very quickly because it's just been mentioned.
Even us as admins go by them.
Oh my god, events files. So the rules we have is one, when joining it is important to remember that this is a share platform, meaning the group on Facebook. The real cool stuff happens on the YouTube channel, so you must subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the full benefit from it. Yeah. Bub. See how snobby she looked then?
You brought that on yourself. I'm doing it on purpose and you just don't see it.
So yeah, it's always best to subscribe. The second one's quite a normal one. It's called Be Kind and Courteous. The third one's no hate speech or bullying. So stuff about race, religion, culture, sexual orientation, gender, identity, or politics, I might add, will not be tolerated. I have my own political opinions. I have my opinions on religion and also other stuff as well, but I will never bring them up while doing paranormal stuff because it's my opinion, and opinions are like elbows and arseholes. We've all got one. So that's my standpoint on that. No promotions or spam. The only exception to this rule is obviously if it's a paranormal group, I don't mind sharing their stuff if they're going to do the same for us. If there's a mutual agreement, fine. If it's just helping one, then that's not working together. That's
working against each other.
That's one working to share their stuff and they don't bother doing it their side. So yeah.
Which would have happened before.
5 is respect everyone's privacy. Some stories you might see on the group might be very personal to people. You are not to share them unless they give their consent. You're also not to message other members unless you've asked them in the comments on a post of the group if they can message you personally, or message them personally, I should say. And if they're happy with it, fine. But another big one is obviously you must be spiritual, because this is paranormal and we're serious about the afterlife, ghosts and spirits. You know, I don't mind if you're a skeptic, I don't mind if you're a non-believer, and I don't mind if you're a believer, an enthusiast, or paranormal investigator itself. But we don't want people coming with us to investigations who mess about. We've had a few. Off the top of my head, Jordan was one. You know, messing about, cracking jokes while we're trying to do an investigation. It's like, this really isn't working. Another one is we can't do investigations if children live there. So if we do like personal investigations for people who have a problem with a spirit and they need to make contact to find out what the spirit wants, no children can live in the building, because what would happen if it's something demonic, and we have encountered this, by the way, is the demonic force will go straight for a child. That's another thing we didn't mention, the pooling stuff.
We'll do that another time.
We have experienced it where we have tried to make contact with a spirit and there was a child in the house, and we heard on the spirit box it said something like, I'm going to bite him, meaning the child, and the moment later one of Laurie's ex-friends, or friend at the time, her friend's child woke up screaming seconds afterwards, which was really freaky.
You know what? There was a bite mark.
So, yeah, we can't do it if children live there. It's for their safety more than anything.
Something else, if we do go to someone's house, it is actually free of charge.
Yeah, we don't charge. Word of warning, we film on investigations. We've always got the full spectrum rolling. Sometimes we even have the day camcorder rolling with another IR light, but we do film. Other group advertisements and cooperation. We allow people to post on our group if it's paranormal. They have to ask first. We're happy with nearly all paranormal groups. There's only a few we will never work with again. And the biggest one is it's over 18s only. We won't let anyone in who's under the age of 18.
We've tried it.
If they're 17 and they're like a couple of days from their birthday, I think I can just about cope because they're a bit more mature. But we will not let anyone on the investigation if they're like 16. We can't, because one, there's legal issues for a start. Two, they get too scared. As soon as the devil's mentioned or something like that, they're worried, they're screaming, they're crying, and it's not fun for anyone. So yeah, those are our rules for the group. Obviously, I've put the link to the group in the comments, so you can see it. I'll also add it into the description a bit later. So, the final item on our itinerary is, we hope you've enjoyed this live. It's almost been 2 hours. Christ.
I'm going to have to go sit here when my back's starting to hurt.
We all hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will not be having a Merry Christmas tomorrow. I've got to do Christmas shopping, and it's going to be hell.
And I'll be dragged with them.
Well, yeah, you've got to suffer too. But we all hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the new year. Now, we're not, as I say, we're not planning to do anything yet, but we was meant to be going to a pub. We're also meant to be going to a museum, but I don't know what's happening with that. And if Craigie Boy's watching, he can let me know, either via WhatsApp, Facebook, or whatever. But yeah, that is pretty much it from us. We hope you've enjoyed this, getting to know us a bit. If you're late to the party and you're just watching now, I will put it in the featured stuff on YouTube so you can see it. I'm just going to warn you, disclaimer, it's a long ass video. And you will be there a while. But it is all relevant. So yeah, that is probably it from us today. We hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you probably at Margraham Castle in February of 2024.
Maybe before. Maybe
before, who knows? Not at Margraham though, it'll be somewhere in Devon probably before that. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed, people. That's about it from us here at Spirit Hunters Paranormal UK. Hope you like the t-shirt. I had it made the other month. It's not bad actually, although it feels a bit soft. It's weird. But hey ho.
Get used to it.
In the meantime, just have a good Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe and good hunting. And that's us out. Bye for now. Bye. Bab, say bye.
See you later.
She's very shy.
I'm talking to myself.
You talk to yourself all the time.
Oh, I did those to you.